ureter near to the urinary bladder. Most thickest smooth muscle layer in the males is located in the urinary bladder, and in the females located in the uterus. Yeah, shows uterus as thicker wall in comparison to the urinary bladder. Is it clear? In the males, inferior to the neck of the urinary bladder, there is prostate. This organ is called prostate. Okay? In the males, around the neck of the urinary bladder, there is prostate. The base of the urinary bladder is shaped like an inverted triangle. Inverted triangle, and faces posterior-inferior. This area is base of the urinary bladder from inside of the urinary bladder. You see here, there are two openings on the supralateral part. That these openings are related to the ureters. Openings of ureters. These are ureters. Two ureters enter to the urinary bladder at each of the upper corners of the base. And the urethra drains inferiorly from the lower corner of the base. Is it clear? Inside, the mucosal lining on the base of the urinary bladder is smooth and firmly attached to the underlying smooth muscle coat of the wall. Unlike elsewhere in the urinary bladder, where the mucosa is folded and loosely attached to the wall. Do you remember what's the epithelium of the urinary bladder? Transitional epithelium. Epithelium of the urinary bladder is transitional epithelium. In the transitional epithelium, there is a layer of cuboidal or small columnar layer, and superior to this cuboidal layer, there are 3 or 4 layers of rocket-shaped cells, and superficial cells are called umbrella cells or dome-shaped cells or giant cells. When urinary bladder is empty, there are many folds in the mucosa, and when will be full, epithelium extend, and layers of rocket cells decrease because the cells enter between each other and extension of the epithelium occurs. Shows layers of this epithelium is flexible, it's dynamic, based on empty or full urinary bladder. Based on this epithelium is called transitional epithelium. Transitional epithelium. It's an idea. Yeah? Transitional means it's an idea. In this area of the base of the urinary bladder, from inside of the urinary bladder, epithelium firmly attached to the muscular layer, and there aren't folds. Okay? There aren't folds here. This part of the internal surface of the urinary bladder is called trigone. It's called trigone. It's called trigone. Or urinary bladder triangle. The smooth triangular area between the openings of the ureter and urethra on the inside of the urinary bladder is known as the trigone. Here is trigone. These are openings of ureters, and this is internal orifice of the urethra. Is it clear? Anterolateral or anteroinferior or infralateral surfaces of the urinary bladder are bred between the levator muscle and adjacent obturator interverse muscle above the attachment of the pelvic diaphragm. The superior surface is slightly down when the bladder is empty. It follows upward as the bladder fills. This is superior surface. And it's all anteroinferior or anterolateral or infralateral surfaces. You see here, superior surface of the urinary bladder is covered by peritoneum. It's covered by peritoneum. In the men, this peritoneum covers superior part of the base of the urinary bladder and then turn to the anterior surface of the rectum. This is peritoneum. Here, peritoneum, after covering the superior surface of the urinary bladder, covers superior part of the base, and then turn to the anterior surface of the rectum. Between rectum and urinary bladder in the males, there is a rectovesical pouch. Rectovesical pouch. Do you know what's the meaning of pouch? Bombast چی میگه؟ bombast.
لا يعني مكان شلون الشارع تمام مفتوح من جهه ومسدود من جهه ثانيه.
لا چی میگی؟ شما عربی چی میگی به bombast؟ یه کوچه که bombast چی میگی؟ bombast انتهاش بسته است.
مثلا بشون تصدق مثل خیابون که یکی جاش بازه یکی از جاش بسته شده.
آره. آره خب چی میگی بهش؟ به عربی چی میگی؟ به bombast چی میگی؟
اصلا bombast به عربی اصلا نتعریف نمی‌دونه. بهشون توضیح نداره که خیابون یکیش بازه یکیش بسته.
مگه میشه دانشته باشه؟ عربی زبان قدیمیه. قطعاً داره.
لا واحد يعرف معلومة شلون الشارع شلون مكان مسدود من جهة ومفتوح من جهة ثانية.
یه جایی که بسته است، یه جایی که مثلا باید داشته باشه.
دیدی استاد درو نگفت
This is rectovesical pouch. Rectovesical pouch in the males. In the females, peritoneum covers superior surface of the urinary bladder and then turn to the anterior surface of the uterus. Here is uterus. Between uterus and superior surface of the urinary bladder, there is a pouch that is called uterovesical pouch. Uterovesical pouch. Okay? Between rectum and urinary bladder in the males, there is rectovesical pouch. Between uterus and urinary bladder in the females, there is uterovesical pouch. Uterovesical pouch. The neck of the bladder surrounds the origin of the urethra at the point where the two infralateral surfaces and base intersect. The neck is the most inferior part of the urinary bladder and also the most fixed part. It's anchored into position by a pair of fibromuscular bands which connect the neck and pelvic part of the urethra to the posterior aspect of each pubic bone. You see here, this is the apex of the urinary bladder. After removing this apex, you may see inferior part of the urinary bladder, that this part is the fixed part. This part is called neck, the bone. In women, these fibromuscular bands are termed pubovesical ligaments. Pubovesical ligaments. In the females, together with the cranial membrane and associated muscles, the water body muscles, and the pubic bones, these ligaments help support the bladder. Pubovesical ligament. You see here, pubovesical ligament around the neck of the urinary bladder. In men, the paired fibromuscular bands are known as puboprostatic ligaments because they blend with the fibrous capsule of the prostate, which surrounds the neck of the urinary bladder and adjacent part of the urethra. Here is puboprostatic. Prostatic ligament attached to the capsule of the prostate, and pubovesical attached to the neck of the urinary bladder. Neck of the posterior surface of the pubic bone, the neck of the urinary bladder. Also, the bladder is considered to be pelvic in the adult. It has a higher position in children. It has a higher position in the children. At birth, the bladder is almost entirely abdominal, in the abdomen, similar to the uterus. The females, at birth, uterus, and urinary bladder, both of them are located in the abdomen. At birth, the bladder is almost entirely abdominal. The urethra begins approximately at the upper margin of the symphysis. With age, the bladder descends until after puberty, when it assumes the adult. Do you have any question about it? Urethra begins at the neck of the urinary bladder, both sexes, and ends with an external opening in the perineum. The past taken by the urethra differ significantly in the men and women. The women urethra is straight and short. It has 3 to 4 centimeter length and it's straight. It's located on the anterior wall of the vagina. But in the males, it's very long. It has 18 to 20 centimeter length, 18 to 20 centimeter length, and it has 4 parts in the males. There are differences between male and female urethra. This is female urethra, straight and short. It has 3 to 4 centimeter length. But in the male, it's long. It has 18 to 20 centimeter length, and it has 4 parts. Pre-prostatic part, prostatic part, membranous part, and penile part or spongy part. Penile or spongy part. All 4 parts. In women, the urethra is short, being about 4 centimeter long. It travels slightly curved as it passes inferiorly through the pelvic floor into the perineum, where it passes through the deep perineal arch. Passes through deep perineal arch. And perineal membrane before opening to the vestibule that lies between labia minor. Here is urethra in the female. When urethra in females passing through deep perineal pouch, around the urethra there is a muscle that is called sphincter of the urethra. Okay. Passing through the deep perineal pouch, around the urethra there is urethral sphincter. This is voluntary sphincter. This is voluntary sphincter. Urethral sphincter. In women, the urethral opening is anterior to the vaginal opening. Here is vaginal opening and here is urethral opening. The inferior aspect of the urethra is bound to the anterior surface of the vagina. 2 small paraurethral mucus glands. 2 paraurethral mucus glands, skin glands, are associated with the lower end of the urethra. Okay? Skin gland are associated with the lower end of the urethra. You see here, this is paraurethral gland. Each drains via a duct that opens into the lateral margin of the external orifice of the urethra. External orifice of the urethra that you see here. This is skin gland and duct of the skin. In men, the urethra is wide, about 20 centimeter length, and bends twice along its course, here and here. Beginning at the neck of the urinary bladder and passing inferiorly through the prostate, it passes through the deep perineal pouch and perineal membrane and immediately enters the root of the penis. I told you urethra in the men has 4 parts. Pre-prostatic part, prostatic part, membranous part, and spongy part or penile. Pre-prostatic part has 1 centimeter length, and prostatic part has 3 centimeter length. And membranous part has 1.5 centimeter length. Okay? And penile part has about 30 to 15 centimeter length. Okay? In men, as the urethra exits the deep renal pouch, it bends toward the post anteriorly in the root of the penis. When the penis is flaccid, the urethra makes another bend. This time inferiorly, when passing from the root of the body of the penis. During erection, the bend between the root and body of the penis disappears. This is flexible curve. Okay? This is fixed curve in the membranous urethra, and this is flexible bend. Urethra in men is divided into preprostatic, prostatic, membranous, and spongy or penile parts. The preprostatic part of the urethra is about 1 centimeter length, extends from the neck of the urinary bladder to the prostate, and is associated with a circular hub of smooth muscles that is called internal urethral sphincter. Internal urethral sphincter is specific for men. Specific for men. In the neck of the urinary bladder, muscular fibers of the urinary bladder in the females will be longitudinal or oblique. But in the male, around the neck, muscular fibers of the urinary bladder becomes circular. And these circular muscles make internal urethral sphincter. What's the importance of internal sphincter of the urethra? What's the importance of this? To females, when membranous urethra in males passes through the deep renal pouch, it has voluntary urethral sphincter. Okay? Internal urethral sphincter is involuntary. It's involuntary. When urethra passing through deep renal pouch in males or females, there is urethral sphincter around the urethra. Voluntary. Okay? But internal sphincter of the urethra is involuntary. In the males, is a dark hole. Extraction, secretion of semen and urine. Okay, both of them. In the ejaculation, this sphincter should be closed and semen goes out. Okay? This function of this sphincter makes retrograde ejaculation. Instead of secretion of the semen outside, semen goes to the urinary bladder. Okay? Is it clear? This is for protection of the urinary bladder from entering the semen. Is it clear or no? Is it clear? Yeah? Are you here? You. Are you here? No. Yeah, please. No. Yeah. Where are you? What's the importance of internal sphincter of the urethra? You are going to space with air. What are you doing? I told you. God for acid, the semen and urine in male is said. C. Urethra is dark for semen and urine. In the ejaculation, the internal sphincter of the urethra will be closed for preventing from entering the semen into the urinary bladder. Okay? Okay? But in the female, vagina is separate from the urethra. Is it clear? Contraction of this sphincter prevents retrograde movement of semen into the urinary bladder during ejaculation. I wrote here. Yeah? It's very important. You see here, this is pre-prostatic and here is prostatic urethra and here is membrane urethra. Along the pre-prostatic urethra, there is internal urethral sphincter. The prostatic part of the urethra is 3 to 4 centimeter long and is surrounded by the prostate. In this region, the lumen of the urethra is marked by a longitudinal tube-line form of mucosa on the posterior wall of this part of the urethra, there is a longitudinal fold that is called urethral crest. Urethral crest. The depression on each side of the urethral crest is the prostatic sinus. Prostatic sinus on each side of the urethral crest. The ducts of the prostate empty into sinus. Midway along its length, the urethral crest enlarged for somewhat circular elevation. This circular elevation is called caliculus seminalis or veromontano. Veromontano or caliculus seminalis. This is here on the posterior wall of the prostatic urethra. There is a longitudinal fold that is called urethral crest. In the midway of the urethral crest, there is an elevation that is called caliculus seminalis or veromontano. Caliculus seminalis or veromontano. On the apex of the veromontano or caliculus seminalis, there are 3 foramina. 2 foramina for ejaculatory ducts and 1 foramen for prostatic urethra. There are 3 foramina on the veromontano or caliculus seminalis. On each side of the urethral crest, there is a depression, and in this depression that is called prostatic sinus, there are many foramina for prostate gland. Secretion of the prostate gland. In men, the seminal caliculus is used to determine the position of the prostate gland. During transurethral transection of the prostate. Small blind ender. Small blind ender. Pouch. The prostatic utricle. Here. Comes to be the homologous of the uterus in female. Opens onto the center of the seminal caliculus. Here, prostatic utricle is homologous with the uterus and uterine tubes. Why? Is it possible a man with XY chromosomes have uterus and uterine tubes? Is it possible? Why? When I tell you prostatic utricle is homologous with the uterus and uterine tubes, it shows the embryonic origin of these parts are same. Embryonic origin of these parts are same. Okay? Prostatic utricle and uterine tube and uterus originate from paramesonephric ducts. Paramesonephric ducts. And it's possible that in the abdomen of the man, prostatic utricle becomes larger and makes uterus and uterine tubes. Possible. This is a congenital malformation. Okay? Prostatic ventricle is a blind-ended pouch that opens into the seminal colliculus seminalis, or veromonta, here. On each side of the colliculus seminalis opening of prostatic ventricle, there are two openings that are called ejaculatory ducts. Ejaculatory ducts. The reproductive system, you read ejaculatory ducts. Membranous part of the urethra is a narrow that passes through the perineal pouch, and there is sphincter around this part. It is called urethral sphincter, similar to the urethral sphincter in the females. Urine is passing through the pouch. The urethra is both men and women, surrounded by the skeletal muscle of external urethral sphincter. Spongy urethra is surrounded by the erectile tissue, corpus spongiosum, and it's called penile urethra or spongy urethra. Is enlarged from the bulb of the penis, at the base of the penis, which is the bulb of the penis, and at the end of the penis, that is called navicular fossa. End part of the penile urethra in the glans penis is called navicular fossa. In the deep perineal pouch, on each side of the membranous urethra, there is a gland that is called bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland, or Cooper's gland. Therefore, this gland, bulbourethral gland or Cooper's gland, at 1.5 centimeter length and runs into the bulb of the penis, the end part of the penile urethra, posterior part of the penile urethra. External urethral orifice is the sagittal slide at the end of the penis. Do you have any questions about this? After 15 minutes, rest, come back, and again, and then start right about this. Okay?
لا والله ابغى اتوقف. لا هاي انا قلت وين تكون هاي